Welcome to the ASA podcast, where we focus on subcontractors, the construction industry, and the issues and people making an impact. The ASA podcast is brought to you by the American Subcontractors Association and the foundation of the American Subcontractors Association. Welcome back to the ASA podcast. I'm your host, Mike Kline, and today I'm here with Matt Levine, who's the vice president of ASA. Matt is here to talk about member benefits and what subcontractors can expect from joining ASA. So welcome, Matt. Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks who don't know who you are?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it. I'm Matt Levine. I'm the vice president of the American Subcontractors Association, the national office. And like Mike said, we're going to talk a little bit about member benefits. Obviously, ASA members are joining locally. But it's important that everyone knows everything that's available to them. It's important to us that there aren't two sets of benefits. There aren't local benefits and national benefits. It's one big family, ASA, and it's one set of benefits, the value you get from joining ASA. We just want to make sure, whether you're a new member or you've been a member for 25 years, we want to make sure that you know what's available to you.
Well, cool. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned locally because, as you said, members join locally. And so from a national standpoint, from a benefit standpoint, what are the benefits, the primary benefits that members can enjoy?
Yeah, and there are a bunch. Obviously, the biggest one involves advocacy. We have an unparalleled advocacy team. But everybody knows that. That's the most communicated thing. And there's advocacy going on locally also. But beyond that, that's really what we're here to talk about. It's what Mike's referring to. So there's a resource library, and we'll dive into all these things individually, but there's a resource library, and it's pretty spectacular. We have a discounted purchasing program called ASA Advantage. There are monthly webinars. So there's education available to you, and those webinars can be about subcontractor related issue, contracts, getting paid in a timely manner. They could be about leadership. They could be about social media. I know we're doing some soon on managing a LinkedIn account and how to use that to your advantage. So there's really good education. And then with education, we do have a national convention. That's a benefit. We have a national convention once a year called SubExcel, and great education, both for subs and suppliers, and great leadership education, but it's also unparalleled networking opportunity. So take that networking you're doing locally, that's why a lot of folks are joining, and just supercharge that by meeting with folks who are in your trade or in other trades from around the country, and it's really great networking. So SubExcel is a really important thing that we can get to when we're talking today, Mike. And then another benefit really is our staff. We're here to support you. So if you have questions, if you have needs, if you have ideas, like we're here to serve our members. So and we hope we can fill that role. So those are the things I'd like to dive into, and might as well,
Yeah, let's dive right in. You mentioned the resource library. Where is it? What is it? How do members find it? How do they access it? What's in it, most importantly?
I'll try to keep this as easy as possible. I know it's hard off of one of these conversations to go navigate a website. But basically, the resource library is a vast library of documents, and I'll get into that. But it resides, where you find it is in the Info Hub. The Info Hub is just a fancy way of saying the members-only area of our website. So if you go to asaonline.com, that is the ASA national website. You can click on member login, and if you are set up, you'll get right in. You'll see the resource library. If you don't have an account, when you click on member login, it'll say, if you don't have an account, click here to create one. Please do so. You need to be registered with us, ASA National, to have access. It's basically all database driven. So each member, which is a company, so each ASA member company can have as many employees. So if you can be one person, it can be every employee at your company. You can have them get access to the Info Hub, We just need everybody's name and email address. Make sure you get in touch with us after you hear this. We can get everybody registered, and that way all of the employees at a member company have access to everything we discuss. But that's where the resource library is. It's in the info hub. I can tell you, just as a pro tip, the username is always going to be first name dot last name, and you get to choose your password. But when it asks you for a username, it's not your email address. It's first name dot last name. But I just want to dive in while we're talking about the resource library. That's how you get there. You register for the info hub, you go in, and you'll see where it says resources along the left-hand side of the screen. Click on it, and it's intimidating. There are thousands of documents. The way you navigate that is, if you know what you're looking for, start typing it in the search box. The searchability is really good. It's user-friendly. Let's say you're looking for negotiating tips. It's one of the most used documents in the library. Start typing negotiating tips in the box, hit enter, off you go. It'll come up on the screen, and that document, which is updated, all these documents are updated every couple of years. You can open it and read it. You can download it. It is a very useful resource for our members as you're negotiating contracts. If you don't know what you're looking for and you're just navigating the site, there is a drop-down menu that has different buckets. So there is a drop-down, I think it's called contracts or contract tips. You can go in there and see it. There's another one called the Subcontract Document Suite. That's the most used document. So there's contract language in the Subcontract Document Suite. Again, hugely beneficial for subs. You pay lawyers all this money, but you have this contract language at your fingertips, and you can use it in the contracts you're signing. Our goal is to empower our members to sign good contracts that will be help you thrive, help you be more profitable, and as opposed to not having these things and putting yourself at risk by signing bad contracts. So these things are all in there. You can look for retainage laws in the 50 states, lien laws in the 50 states. There's OSHA documents and information. There's OSHA regs in there. We have a wonderful attorneys council made up of attorneys from around the country who are involved in construction. They help us with this resource library. They're creating these documents. And sorry to run on here, Mike, but another one is over the last handful of years, during COVID and coming out of COVID, price escalations was and is a huge issue in the industry. Well, we brought this to the Attorneys Council. There is a document with price escalation language and force majeure language in this resource library. That's the type of stuff that maybe it's not the reason you became an ASA member, but it really might be a lifesaver. We want our members to know that these things exist. They can be really helpful. They really can be business-saving documents. So that's what it's all about. Again, there are thousands of documents in there. Please just take time to navigate it. And if you ever have questions, you can reach out to us. We can help you with access. We can help you if you can't find something you're looking for. Just ask. The worst we can say is, no, it doesn't exist, but we'll get working on it, or we'll point you in the right direction. So it's pretty fantastic, and it's underutilized. I would say maybe a third of our members are using this resource library, and everyone should I just want to make sure everybody knows about it.
So basically, if you're a company, if you're a member of ASA, you can have any staff person that you want have an account on ASA online, and they would have access to this resource library. So if you have people who are writing contracts, they can get the contract language. If you have legal teams, they could get in there and they could find its content. So it sounds pretty impressive.
Everybody, yeah, it really is. Everybody, all we need to do is make sure that we have everyone that an ASA member wants registered. We just need to get every name and email address in our system, and they will have access to it. It's unlimited. It's unlimited number of users from the member. You can use it as often as you want. It really is. I can tell you there are other associations that have asked us for access to this. They've offered money for some of these documents, but it really is exclusive to ASA members, and that means something to us.
Well, let's talk about access then a little bit. on a computer, obviously through the website, you can get to it. Um, I know that ASA also has an app. Is that accessible through the app?
Yes, thank you. The great question. The ASA member app through Growth Zone. There is a Growth Zone app. If you download that app and set up your account, you can get to these documents. You can get to membership directories. You can do all sorts of interesting. I think you can get this podcast on the app. Um,
Good.
so I highly recommend it, depending upon how you like to interact with information. Personally, I'm getting old. I don't see great, so I can't read contract documents on my phone. I'm doing it from my computer, but a lot of folks are constantly on the move. So
Right.
you have a tablet, you have a phone. You can get this stuff from your mobile device, through the internet, through the app. We're trying to meet you where you are.
That's awesome. I go, the other question I have related to Access is when you set up your account, I'm assuming your login is going to be unique to ASA National. It's not going to have anything to do with, say, like a local chapter account.
Great question. Yes. So local ASA chapters have their own website, and we have a separate website as well. We obviously play well in the sandbox and we connect to each other. But whatever access, whatever logins you have for the chapter are going to be unique from the login you need for this website. And that's just the nature of, unfortunately, how technology works. We don't have one entry. We don't have a universal way of doing this. But I would say come to the national website, which again is asaonline.com. Make sure you have an account and make sure you can access the info hub, because as you're going to find out in a minute, it's not just about the resource library. There's more available there, and we just want to make sure you have access to everything that's available to you.
Well, that's a good segue because I want to talk about the ASA Advantage program. You mentioned that early on. It's a discount purchasing program. Let's get into the details of that.
Mike, it's a biggie. There are members who are covering the dues for their entire year with what they're saving or getting back from ASA Advantage. So I'll just dive right in. Again, you're going to find all the information you need about ASA Advantage. Again, just a fancy way of saying discounted purchasing for ASA members. You're going to find that in the info hub. A little bit down from resources, the resource library, you'll see ASA Advantage. Click on it and you'll see a whole host of company logos and names. You'll recognize most of them. You might not recognize all of them. Click on each individual one. It'll show you how to access that discount. It'll tell you what the discount is and how to access it. I will also tell you there are more discounts available to you. There are dozens of them. There are more than just what's on that page. One of them is called National Purchasing Partners. If you click on that, it takes you to National Purchasing Partners website. Because you're a member of ASA, you have access to all of their discounts. And those guys have everything from Verizon Wireless, Cintas, uniforms, Office Depot, batteries and bulbs. They have some travel discounts. There's again dozens within National Purchasing Partners. I'll apologize for them in advance. Each company has its own process for a discount. So Verizon Wireless, we'll start there. It's a great discount. You can get 20% off your wireless, not the overall bill, but whatever your plan is. You get 20% off the base plan. Verizon Wireless has whatever hoops you need to jump through. They ask you, this is the information we need. You do it, you get the discount. Cintas, it's a totally different steps. Luckily, most of them are easy. I can tell you Verizon's not simple, but to save 20% off the wireless bill, it's worth it. But taking a step back, we really we want to make sure that you know what's available to you. Many ASA members belong to other associations, whether they're trade associations, whatever it is. You may have discounts already, and that's great. But if you aren't accessing these discounts, I just want you to know what's available. Because if you can save a few $100s on a computer purchase, because we have access to computers discounts on computer purchasing from a couple different brands. We have access for discounts on software, accounting software, cloud software, construction management software. There are discounts even with HR. Not all. In fact, most ASA members aren't big enough to have a whole HR department. Well, we have a relationship with Sesco, where basically they can come in. They will do a free employment manual review, an employee handbook review. They'll do that for free, and then they'll offer discounted HR services if you want to engage them. I can tell you that we use them. We don't have skin in that game, but we want to make sure that this is available to you. It's of value. I've been holding out the last two. I can tell you the two most used and the biggest bang for your buck with ASA Advantage are Home Depot and UPS. Obviously, both brands that everybody knows. I can tell you most, if not all, ASA members are shopping at Home Depot. Many ASA members have Pro Extra accounts. What you might not know is if you have a Pro Extra account and you have a credit card tied to it, which I think you need to anyway once you have the Pro Extra account, if you tie your Pro Extra account to the ASA discount, you can get 2% rebate on all of your Home Depot purchasing. All you need to do is just connect your Pro Extra account to our discount program, and it's awesome. It's for ASA members. I can tell you that I think in 2024, it was somewhere around $500,000 was shared back to ASA members. That's a very real number. It's a lot of money. So we have information on there. It's very easy to sign up for a Pro Extra account. It's very easy to connect it to the ASA program. That's on the Info Hub, how to access it. And we'd encourage you, if you're shopping at Home Depot, you might as well get 2% back. I mean, there are folks who are getting a lot of money back. Obviously, there's a lot of purchasing being done there. And then with UPS is offering up to 50% discount on shipping in different categories of shipping. I can tell you there are at least 17, if not 18 or 19 ASA members who are covering their entire dues for the year just with what they're saving with UPS.
Huh. That's incredible.
So, it is. And I didn't even realize, we helped push this stuff out. I didn't realize it was that big. That we need more ASA members because everybody's shipping something at some point.
Right.
Even if you just save $100 a year or $50 a year, this is available to you. We want you to have access to it. Office Depot is another one. Office supplies, travel. We have a relationship with Hotel Engine. So there are travel discounts. That's not just hotels, that's rental cars. Look into it. Again, if it's not of use to you, okay. But if we can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, I feel like we've accomplished something.
Yeah, I mean, any opportunity, I would say that you could pay for when a membership pays for itself. It's almost a no-brainer.
And I say this all the time. It's not necessarily getting $500 back from Home Depot or saving a few $100s on shipping. That's not the reason why folks are becoming ASA members. But It might be the reason to stay. It might be one of the many reasons to stay. We just want you to know what's available to you. That's all.
I think like the key takeaway I'm hearing from this is everyone buys office supplies, everyone buys computers, everybody is shipping. If you're a subcontractor, you're buying stuff, whether, at Home Depot, that kind of equipment and supplies. And ASA is bringing these discounts to you through the ASA Advantage program. And just so to be clear, this is all in the Info Hub, right? I mean, you get the ASA Advantage through the Info Hub.
And again, just like with the resource library, if you have questions, if you're having trouble, if one of the companies isn't getting back to you, if you're having trouble accessing a discount, that's why we're here. We are here to help. We're not here to make your life more complicated. We don't want you spending gobs of time signing up for discounts and struggling with it. That's why we're here to help. We want you to do all the great work you do, and we want to be of assistance. So if you need help, please reach out, and we're happy to.
Is there anything else in the Info Hub, which sounds amazing? Is there anything else in the Info Hub that members should be aware of?
Yeah, the Info Hub, I mean, it actually, sometimes technology is pretty useful here. So yeah, you can manage, there is a membership directory. There's a public membership directory on the ASA website. There's also a directory within the Info Hub that you get more information from. So if you're looking for a specific member, there is a membership directory in the Info Hub. Or if you're looking for certain trade, if I'm looking for all the drywallers in Colorado, you can do that in the Info Hub member directory, and that can be of use to you. You can control how your company's listing looks on the member directory. If you want to upload your logo and add more information, you can control your own listing. You can, let's say you have to, if somebody leaves your company, you can remove them from, like I said, we need everyone's name and email address if they want to have access. Well, if you want to restrict someone's access because they left, then you want to add someone new because you have a new hire, you can control that from the Info Hub under My Info.
Okay.
Or if you don't feel like dealing with that, you can just reach out to us and we can do it for you. There's an event calendar on the Info Hub where you can go see webinars that are coming up when SubExcel is coming. So if you want to see what we're doing nationally and register right there from the Info Hub, you can do that in the calendar, which it's pretty useful. You can also, if there's an invoice you need paid, you can control everything about your ASA membership from the Info Hub. You can save a credit card securely in there if you want or need to. You name it, it's in there. Again, if you have a question on how to do something, or if you're trying to make your life easier, you want to automate something, reach out to us. We'll help you set it up.
I'm glad you covered that invoicing part, because that was going to be my next question: is can you pay for stuff through there? So clearly you can. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So we've covered a lot here. What other benefits? Is there anything that you haven't covered?
Yeah,
I would say
I do want to mention again, Mike, that our advocacy team is recognized in the industry. They're best in class. But an interesting thing that sort of sets ASA apart that I want everyone to know about is the Subcontractors Legal Defense Fund, the SLDF. Yes. And the reason why I talk about it is it's not for when an ASA member gets in trouble and needs a lawyer. That's not what this is about. This is about when our advocacy team has success, which is often, and a bill gets passed and signed into law. That's the beginning, not the end. That's the beginning of where this comes to life. It's basically how laws get adjudicated in the courts over time. That's the important part. So what'll happen is there will be a court case in a state, let's say Texas, a subcontractor is not getting paid, there's a lawsuit. It's in our best interest, and our meaning subcontractors, everybody, the subcontractor family, every subcontractor, ASA member or not, but it's in our best interest to help that subcontractor win that case, because how laws get interpreted is basically, it creates precedent. That's how it helps over time. So what happens is, if that case in Texas gets brought to our attention, we can take it to our attorney's council that I mentioned, and if it fits the right, if it's appropriate, we'll have a local attorney pick up the case. They'll write basically an amicus brief, not to get too into the weeds, but basically we'll help write an amicus brief, try to help win the case, and we fund that. It takes funding. We raise money to do this subcontractors legal defense. The lawyers do it at a reduced rate, but it obviously takes money to help win these cases. On the ASA website, if you go under advocacy, there's basically all of these cases. It's broken down by state that we've been involved in, and we don't win every one of them. We win many of them. It has really moved the needle greatly over the years. It's benefited the industry. It's benefited our members more than I could ever communicate on this broadcast with you, Mike. And it really is a crown jewel of ASA. Most membership associations don't have things like this, and it's something that we brag about, and it's obviously something we fundraise for, and we should brag about it because it really is unreal. Shannon Oscar with our advocacy team works with the Attorneys Council on this, and it really has been a monumental success. So that is a benefit of being part of a family like ASA. I can tell you, and it sounds silly, but the national staff, that's a benefit. And I'm not tooting my own horn, like from our CEO, Richard Bright, me, our advocacy team, our communications team, and we'll get into our customer service team with Katie. It's a benefit to have us working for you. Just like you have staff at the chapter level who are there, the executive directors are unbelievable at the local level. Well, you have that type of representation at the national level too. We're here to help you succeed. And we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, that's great. And well, why don't you get into the staff a little bit? I have a couple more questions I want to hit on here, but you mentioned the staff. It's a good time to start talking about those folks.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you know who to reach out to. If you go to the ASA website, again, asaonline.com, and you go under About, there is a staff page. It does tell you who everyone is and what they do. I can tell you if you need anything, you can always reach out to me. My email address is mlevine, MLEVINE, at asa-hq.com. But we do have a dedicated customer service person. Her name is Katie Pippin. She's the director of community engagement. So you can always reach out to Katie for access issues to the website, to the info hub. You need to change a password. You need help with an invoice. Anything you need, you can go to Katie. And if she doesn't have the answer, she'll get you to the right person. Katie's email address is, her name is Katie Pippin. It's Pippin, K-P-I-P-P-I-N, at asa-hq.com. So if you forget everything else we said here, just know that we're here for you and we will get you to where you need to be. Just reach out. It's really that simple. And we love hearing from you. It's fun to actually connect with members every day. Again, that's why we're here.
But a couple other things I want to pull out. So I want to circle back to advocacy a little bit. I know that ASA does their annual fly-in to Washington, D.C. Can you hit on that a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. That's in June. We do it every June. This year it is the week of June 10th. So I think the fly-in is on June 11th. We have a board meeting, a national board meeting on the 10th. We will do on the evening of the 10th, Mike Oscar, our director of government relations, he'll do an orientation the night before the walk on the Hill. So we'll talk about the issues that matter to ASA and our members, and the issues and why it matters, what to talk about. It'll have all the talking points. He'll lay out who's meeting with whom and when. Mike does an unbelievable job. I've never seen anything like it. So there's an orientation where everyone gets on the same page and who you're going to talk to and what you're going to talk about. And then we have a really neat reception on the Hill at the Monocle. And then on June 11th, it's a full day of meeting with members of the House from your state and their staffs, members of Senate staff, meetings with senators. It really is unbelievable to see how the sausage is made. Until I started with ASA, I had never done this, so it's so neat to see these issues get brought to life. We talk about them on webinars. We talk about them with these resources in the library, but then to actually see these folks care. They actually do work on the Hill, and the staffers care. They want to hear from their constituents, and when you explain to them this is an issue that matters to us in the construction industry and subcontracting, and this is why it matters to us, they listen and take notes, and it's quite a process. And again, the organization Mike has brought to this, Mike Oscar, it's unreal. I encourage everyone. It's not inexpensive to fly to Washington, D.C. and to get a hotel room and to do this, but it's really worth it to do it at least once. You really understand the power of we. we being ASA,
Right.
to
Yeah.
raise our voices together, to bring these issues to the forefront together. And once someone does this, what we've had members, once you do it once, you really get why our association is so important. It's pretty empowering. It's uplifting.
Yeah, I will say this, having been involved with ASA a little bit over the past couple of years, it's notable to me that ASA does have advocates on the Hill, Congress people, senators. And I know ASA had a pretty notable success last winter with an ASA member testifying in front of a congressional committee. And so that's the kind of result that you get from this national advocacy effort. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that at all.
Yeah, I mean, and it went beyond that. I'm Andrew Christ, who is our incoming, as of July, will be the president of ASA National. Yes, he testified on the
It was a
Hill. But
subcommittee, yeah.
yeah, but then also from there, if I remember correctly, the Small Business Administration (SBA) came out to visit his company, and there's been a lot of momentum, and obviously it's good for Andrew, but it's good for subs. I mean, to have it's good for ASA members to have our profile raised by doing
Yeah,
these sort of things. I mean, this is great work by Mike Oscar and his team, and by
yeah,
Andrew and his company. They really that's why we do what we do. And it can start with something locally, and then there have been successes. There are other successes where retainage, we have some success with retainage in one state, and if I remember correctly, Colorado got a retainage law across the finish line, and now there are other states picking Colorado's brain. It's the sharing, it's the networking. It's not just networking to build your business. It's that sharing of information it's really powerful. So ball keeps
yeah.
rolling. I mean, it really
No,
the
that's great.
success is it's been eye opening. It really has.
Yeah. ASA has a powerful voice and is continuing to develop that voice, and that's due to the involvement of a lot of the members. I want to talk a couple more things. So, um, how do people? I know there are newsletters and a monthly publication. Talk about some of those things that are parts of the membership benefits and how people hear about what's going on at the national organization.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that as well. We try not to inundate email boxes. We don't spam with an email a day with marketing, marketing, marketing. We really try to provide you with communication that's useful. So every Thursday, every ASA member, in fact, everyone who's in our system, so not just our member companies, but everyone from those companies who's in our system, every Thursday afternoon will get ASA Today from us. And that really is news. It's sort of like a blog style, so it's short, easy to read, maybe two paragraphs at most for each article. And it's about what's going on the Hill that week, why it matters to you. Our advocacy team does a good job of boiling it down, not just using Washington, D.C. jargon. It really says this is an issue and this is why it matters. This is what's going on. Or if there's regs that change or that you need to know about. We try to keep this one just straight news. Every now and again, we'll put something in about we do put upcoming webinars, but if there's something coming up that's of value to the members, we'll separate it out into an article. Quick hits, real easy to consume Thursday afternoon. So that's every week. And then once a month, we have a magazine called Contractors Compass, and that comes out the last Tuesday of every month. That's a digital magazine. That really, every month it'll have a theme, some safety, technology, year in review. This is more long form journalism, and our communications team does a great job with this. It's interesting. It's not quick hits. These are real articles of value from folks in the industry. Yes, there's a little bit of ASA news and some advertising and marketing interspersed. We like to talk about our successes, or if ASA is doing something in the community, like there's some really cool philanthropic work that gets done around the country. We like to share chapter news. It's neat. But most of Contractors Compass is real hardcore articles around that month's theme. So that comes out once a month. Highly recommend everyone read it. There's just really useful stuff in there. And we will, throughout the year, put a little bit in ASA today, but in Compass, if there's something going on with ASA Advantage, if there's a special offer, we will advertise it. We'll make sure you know about it. But really, we're doing most of the marketing through the chapters. So the chapters have newsletters as well. So if there are discounts, and whether it's Home Depot or if there's a special deal on computers somewhere, or if there's webinar and SubExcel, whatever's happening, we're trying to communicate that through the chapters. So you're getting one sort of unified, cohesive piece of communication. We're doing our best not to inundate everyone. And I would say we are really upping our social media game. So follow us, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn especially. We have a very good presence. So make sure you're connected with us. However you like to be communicated with, we will communicate with you that way.
Two more things, and I know we've been going a while, and Richard won't be happy if we're too long on these podcasts. So talk about, if you can, talk about the foundation. I think it's important that folks hear about that, especially around the Learning Center and the News Hub, and other ways for people to access content.
Yeah, the ASA Foundation, the foundation of the American Subcontractors Association, or FASA, as we call it, it's been around for a long time. We just really relaunched it in the last couple of years. And there are two main thrusts of the foundation. One is education and knowledge. So like Mike said, through the Learning Center, through webinars and through SubExcel and through Contractors Compass, these are all vehicles for sharing information. And you can get these webinars, you can be on them live, you can register, you can go to the foundation website, you can get there through ASA online. You'll see the foundation, you'll see a link for the Learning Center. You can be on those webinars live, you can get them on demand if you want to watch it again, or if you didn't get a chance to be on at noon on a specific Wednesday, you can always go back and register for it later and get it on demand. So that's one big thrust of the foundation, is sharing good information. It brings value to ASA members and to the whole industry, to be honest. More knowledgeable, whether it's subcontractors or general contractors, everyone who, if we can raise the tide, that's a good thing. So that's one piece of the foundation. The other piece of the foundation is really around FASA Cares, which is it's awareness of and working on issues of import. And I'll give you some examples. Mental health and suicide prevention. There is a major suicide crisis in the construction industry. It's something that we're trying to bring awareness of to the industry, to our members. And we're not just trying to talk about it, we're trying to provide programming so that ASA chapters can educate. We can work with ASA chapters to educate members. In national programming, we can do it from the national standpoint to educate members about this, because if we can save one life, our job, it's a success. And it's not just a mental health and suicide. There are other issues that we need to talk about, and that's workforce development. We need to bring more people into the trades. So how do we do that? It involves cooperation and partnerships, and again, awareness at the high school level, the college level, trade schools. We have to get folks to understand college isn't for everyone. Going to a four-year college and going into a white collar, that's not for everyone. There are plenty of unbelievably great career paths available for kids. They just need to know that this is available to them. So that's an important thing that the foundation's working on. I can tell you another one is women in construction. Let's talk about that. Diversity. So we have, many of ASA chapters have women in construction groups. Let's take advantage of a strength. Let's talk about that. How do we get more women into this field? Again, if we're going to talk about workforce development, it's not just for men. So let's build on a strength and talk about these issues, raise awareness. And if we can do that with the foundation, if we can use the foundation as a vehicle to raise money provide education, provide awareness. I mean, there's a neat opportunity here to do well by doing good, or to do good by doing well. It's not just about contracts and all the wonderful things that ASA does. I think we can make a difference at the same time.
Yeah, I think the foundation's a great benefit that members can also access. One of the coolest things, and I'll end on this, and I want to give you a chance to, hit on anything that you did that we haven't talked about. But one of the coolest things that I think that ASA does is their think tank, and to me that has just it's an eye-opening experience, and it's an opportunity for members to contribute directly to the future of ASA.
Yeah, it's a neat day. So we do think tank throughout the year. We move it around. So I can tell you there's one coming up in San Antonio. Obviously, it's easier for the folks in Texas to get there and to register, but it's open to all ASA members. Think tank is an opportunity where you basically will spend a day talking about industry issues, state of the industry, the economy. I can tell you the last think tank we had in Seattle, Washington, we were talking about AI in construction and how it's impacting the construction industry, what the future is going to look like. We could talk about, I can tell you how we discussed price escalations. So if there's something going on in the industry that is of concern for subs, it might get discussed at a think tank, and then coming out of the think tank, there might be some action. So whether it's a white paper that gets written about an issue, or whether it's taken to the Attorney's Council because we need contract language to tackle this issue, a really in-depth conversation that involves subcontractors and chapter leaders from around the country talking about issues. It's beneficial to everyone in the room. It's eye-opening. Everyone learns a lot, but it's also beneficial as an organization. We get to put our finger on the pulse of the industry, and then it gives us a very clear idea of what we need to be talking about and teaching about and providing resources around. So it's a pretty neat day. You're right. I mean, if any ASA members have a chance to attend a think tank, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and there's no cost to register, right? I think it's you can get there for free. As long you have to fly into wherever you're going, you have to get a hotel, but there's no cost to register for it.
Correct.
This has been great. I think this is packed with information. What have we not covered that we have to get to that is important for members to know about?
For me, ASA members are really wonderful. When we get ASA members together, like anyone who comes to SubExcel, they come back to SubExcel. Because when you get ASA members in a room networking and connecting and sharing, the energy is unbelievable. My first SubExcel was in 2019 in Nashville, and it just struck me that the energy in the room and the energy coming out of it's very real. It is a family. It's very tight-knit group and very welcoming. So if you've never been, don't let that discourage you. Connect locally, continue to connect locally. But when you have a chance, get involved with ASA National also. Whether you come to a SubExcel or volunteer for a committee, you can come to Think Tank. You can volunteer if you have finance experience. The finance committee is always looking for folks. Or if you want to continue up in leadership, the board of directors is always looking for young up-and-coming leaders. So get involved. There's so much benefit on so many different levels. It's a pretty special group.
Let's wrap up on this. Remind people where they can go to get information as far as websites, and also specifically, you've mentioned that they can contact you, but which other staff can they contact if they need assistance or have questions?
Again, the ASA National website is asaonline.com. A lot of this information I covered today is in the website. If you are interested in what issues our advocacy team is covering, go there. But like Mike said, it's not just me. It's not just Katie and Richard, our CEO. If you go to the staff page, Mike Oscar and his team's information is there. If you have advocacy questions, please go to them. Katie and I are on there. Our communications team is on there. We're all here to serve you. But the website really, it has information about ASA Advantage. It has information about each chapter. There's a map of our network. You need to log into the members only area called the Info Hub to get details. Obviously, we don't broadcast the discounts out to the public. You need to be an ASA member. They're unique to that's why you become a member. But take pride in your membership. For whatever reason you joined, you unlocked a whole world you might not even know about. So go for it.
Yep, terrific. Well, thanks for your time today. It's been very informative and educational. I hope anybody who listens agrees that it has been that and more. So it's been a great conversation, and I appreciate your time. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Till next time, everybody. Thank you for listening to the ASA podcast. For more subcontractor-focused content, visit us at asaonline.com and fastcares.org. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.